Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you guys. Got a couple of people joining the call already. Going to leave it a few minutes before we really kick things off and give everyone a little bit of a chance to join. By the way, everyone who's on the panel is going to be joining called member because there's only one panelist link. So if you would like to update your name, you're more than welcome to do so. Basically click the three more dots on your window in the top right hand corner and then click rename, and you'll be able to rename yourself to your actual names if you would like to do that. Cool, good to see everybody. So basically the format for this particular webinar is we are going to do a live walkthrough of actually producing some video ad content and show you kind of a bit of a behind the scenes look at how it goes, right? How it might go. Now, generally speaking, when I'm shooting stuff, it doesn't always go straight through in one take. So this could be a massive train wreck, and then again, it might also work really well. I don't know. So we're just going to give this a go. And the intention here is to just give you a live behind the scenes look at the process of actually creating content. I'm also, before we dive into it, I'm also gonna just explain in a little bit more detail how we structure a sales funnel. So I'm going to start from simple foundations, and then we can begin to picture how I've pieced together what I'm about to show you guys now. All right, so if you're joining and you're on the panel, welcome, good to see you here. If you're joining and you're an attendee watching, then also welcome, good to see you here. And if you're watching this replay either in YouTube or in my emails and you would like to join one of these calls live, then you should see a link just below this video to register for the next week's call, because these are going to be weekly and they're going to be on particular topics moving forwards. So welcome everybody who is just joining. Couple of things, again, if you have just joined the panel, so Adam, I see you there, mate. You're currently called member. Everyone who's joining is going to be called member, so feel free to rename yourself if you would like to. How are you both doing, Bibra and Adam? Are you well? Thumbs up. Mate, what's happened to your arm?
Mate, I've severed my the tendon in my finger today.
Oh no. How did that happen?
With an angle grinder and some sharp metal. So tomorrow I go into hospital and they're going to reattach the tendon and fix it up.
Let's not go into any more detail than that. But, mate, oh, blimey. Sorry to hear that. Hope you get well soon, buddy.
It's all good. It means I can sit in front of the computer more.
Oh, mate. Stella's just said, yeah, that sounds painful. I agree. Oh, blimey. Matt Yeomans, how are you doing, my friend? Are you well?
Yes, very good.
Legend.
Yeah, all good.
Good to see you.
And you?
Well, yeah, we'll see after the next hour or so how it goes. Fingers
Fair
crossed.
enough.
Good to see you, mate. Cool. All right, we're going to get cracking. Everyone, I think, is now starting to join. I'm just going to quickly promote. I see Mr. Mike Jacks has arrived. I'm just going to bring Mike across. There we are. Cool. So let's rock and roll. So here's what's basically going to happen. I am in my office / studio that I've sort of started putting together, and we have some light boxes here. We have a flip chart that we're going to use for this demonstration. I'm going to balance you guys on that thing there so you can watch it happening. We have the Osmo camera up there, just a little Osmo camera that I normally bring with me when I go traveling. I don't use bulky DSLRs, I just have a little Osmo. We have a script that is balanced precariously on a picture frame on my whiteboard from the iPad. So we're going to be reading from the script during this, and I'm also mic'd up to my phone here, so we're going to voice record straight off the phone, and then I'm going to use that in video editing. So let me just simplify that a little bit more. If you're brand new and you have not started an online business yet, the intention here is just to, as I say, to give you a behind the scenes look. Now, you don't need to spend big money on camera equipment or anything like that if you're starting and you're thinking of using video marketing in your advertising. For the first almost 2 years, I literally just videoed off phone. That was it. Like most of the ads that I was running, you were shot on phone, often handheld, just like that, or on a selfie stick. Is plenty fine. You don't need to go overboard. I've shot plenty of stuff without scripts. I've shot stuff with scripts. You can use both. And you don't need to buy expensive teleprompters. As you can see, you can balance stuff precariously on picture frames. That can work just fine as well. And in terms of voice recording, if you're shooting on your phone with video, if you have a spare phone, you can mic yourself up. Just buy a mic for like $40 off Amazon. This is a Rode lavalier microphone, and you just plug it into the phone. I just use the iPhone. It's got to be an official iPhone adapter because basically, I'll show you here. The microphones have this, it's called, I think it's TTRS as opposed to TRS. So TRS means there's only 3 gold bits and TTRS means there's 4. You don't need to worry anything about what that means. Just know that if you're going to mic yourself up and record on your phone, you need to buy the official Apple adapter, because if you buy cheapy ones from Amazon, they're not compatible with this setup. That's essentially it. Okay, so as I start this, I'm just going to voice memo, just record on my phone. I literally just use voice memos. You don't need to download anything special. It's just a native iPhone app. And then I'm just going to hit record on the camera, and I'm going to read off the scripts on the iPad, and we'll see how this goes. Final thing I will run through before we do this is a quick overview for anyone who's brand new, never started an online business, just a quick overview of how to typically structure a sales funnel, right? And what that might look like. Now, again, don't freak out. Like if you're going through this and you're thinking, what on earth are they talking about? I've no idea how to do any of this. This sounds really complex. Well, if you're looking to get started online, the first thing I'd recommend is find yourself a business education, a community, a program, something that's going to teach you how to do it. Okay, and you'll get a sense of how to put these pieces of the puzzle together yourself. But I just want to show you what the puzzle pieces are. So first of all, if you're doing, let's say, video marketing, which is what I'm going to show you here, typically in simple terms, you would create a video ad, and that video ad would go out on a platform like YouTube, for example, or you might have the video on Facebook, or the video might go on Instagram, right? But you might do marketing on a platform. You can either do paid marketing, so you're paying to put your video in front of people, or you can try to rank your video organically. Again, on this call, I'm not going to go into the ins and outs of paid marketing and organic marketing, but essentially there's lots of different ways to get eyeballs on your video. Now, what then typically happens is somebody sees your video, and if they like the message and they like what you have to offer, then they might click on the video ad and go through to a landing page, all right? Video to landing page. And then typically what would happen on the landing page is you're asking for email information, so someone's email address, in exchange for, let's say, a free resource that's going to help them move forwards in an area of their life. So if in your video you were talking about, say, starting an online business, then the opt-in on the landing page might be for a video series that shows them the foundations of how to start an online business. They enter their name and email and they receive the video series from you. Okay, so that's the next part. Landing page goes to thank you page. All right, and on that connection there, hold on, can I write this in here? Yeah, there we go. So it's an email opt-in, like so. Okay, so on the landing page, they're entering their name and email address to opt into your email list, and that then redirects them to a thank you page. And what the thank you page is doing is really explaining what the next steps are. Like, do they open their emails and access the information? What can they expect to see and learn? Anything else they need to know? Okay, and from there, from the thank you page, they would typically then be on your email list, so they'll get automated emails from you. Okay, and there's lots of different softwares that you can use to send out automated email campaigns. Most people, when they start in my business community, will use something called Aweber. I use something called Infusionsoft. There's different options out there. Again, if you're watching this video on the replay, I'll include links below to all the tools that either we use or recommend for people who want to get started, right? So if you're watching the replay, look for links below this video and you can sign up to these things yourself if you want it. Okay, so that's a typical normal sales funnel. Video ad goes to a landing page, they opt in with their email address, they go to a thank you page, and then they receive an automated email campaign from you that gives them value, 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 and then maybe offers them something to purchase that can help them move forwards even further. And for that purchase, if it's your product, obviously you receive the revenue. If it's not your product, so let's say you're an affiliate or you're selling e-commerce products through drop shipping or something like that, then you're going to receive a commission or a percentage revenue or whatever. Again, I'm not going to go into that in detail on this webinar. That's the general format. Now, what I'm about to do here is I'm adding another couple of steps to this process. All right, so it's not quite this simple. Now, the process that I'm about to go through is I'm going to have a video ad, and that video ad is going to point to a second video, and you'll see this happening live in a second. It's going to go to a second video, which is on its own. How do I can't enter that landing page. There we go. I think I can resize it like that. There we are. The second video is going to be on a landing page. That then is going to bridge to a third video, and you'll see why when I do it, which is on the landing page. Oh, I keep hitting enter to go down. Like that. And then finally, on the fourth page, we're going to have an email opt-in that is going to go to a thank you page. And then they're going to go to emails. And obviously the last one would be automated emails. So we're just going to write emails quicker. Cool. So that's really what we're doing. Video ad, going to a bridge page. I'm going to call this a bridge page with a second video. That then is going to go to an opt-in page. And again, I'm just basically specifying this to make it crystal clear. An opt-in page with the third video, and then a bridge to the thank you page. Okay. So done. Let's give this a go. Let's see how this works. I'm going to try and as well remember to hit record and everything. I've got to take you off the AirPods quickly as well. So I'm just going to switch the audio to the MacBook.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Do we have sound? Yeah, perfect. Good stuff. Cool. Mike, Helen, Bruce, you've been around for a while. What do you reckon of my chances to do this successfully? Mike's giving me a big thumbs down. Oh, Helen, thank you very much. Helen's giving me a thumbs up. Always count on you, Helen. Appreciate you. Okay. Can you still hear me clearly from over here? Does that work? Yeah. All right. Perfect. So here's what's going to happen again, just to clarify so that everyone's clear. I'm going to voice record on my phone. So I'm going to hit record on that. I'm going to hit record on the camera. I'm going to need to line it up to this. I'm going to hit start on the script, and it's going to start auto scrolling. And I just use an app called Teleprompter. It's just a teleprompter app. It'll just auto scroll itself. And then I'm basically, the setup here, you might be able to see it, where my eyes will be. Do you see how the camera is over the top portion of the screen on the iPad? So the way I've set it up, it means that I'm going to be reading the script looking straight through the camera. So it's going to look like I'm looking straight into the camera. I'm actually looking straight through it, and that's how I'll be able to read the script. If I was reading the script off camera, it would look like this. I'll be like, and you'd see that I'm not looking at the lens, right? But the way it's set up, it's going to look like this. It will look like I'm reading the script straight off the camera. Okay, so let's give this a go. I think you should be able to see me right from there. That's cool. Let's hit record on this. La 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 la. Yeah, we got audio there. Okie dokie. Let's line up the camera. Fingers crossed. See how this goes. Spin that around. Okay, that should be, I need that a little bit lower, about there, roughly. Hit record on that. And then I'm going to hit start on the script. Okay, here we go. A little bit nervous actually, never done this before.
I'll start by saying that if you love your career, then this video is not for you. I don't want to waste your time. This video is for those of us who would much rather be doing our own thing than trading our time for money, working for someone else. Now, for those of us who feel sick to our stomachs at the thought of doing what we're doing for another 20 to 30 years, and for those of us who know that life is meant to be about so much more than just waking up with a sense of dread every Monday morning and spending our week counting down the days to the weekend. Is that really what we're here for in this life? Really? In this day and age, there are a ton of different ways that every single one of us can live a far more fulfilling and rewarding life, where we love waking up in the morning and we can't wait to get out of bed and step into the day ahead. Except to get out of our soul-sucking corporate careers, let me do that again. Except to get out of our soul-sucking corporate careers, what do almost every single one of us need? We need to replace our income so that we can pay our bills, right? And what would replacing our income actually mean? Well, if we're no longer trading time for money to earn it, and we're no longer having to be at any specific place to earn it, then we'd have covered our expenses and freed ourselves up to be wherever we want, spending our time with whoever we want and doing whatever we want. So even though it seems like an impossible pipe dream, if we were to make it happen, then replacing our income would have to become the top priority and the first milestone for most of us wanting to get out of our corporate career, wouldn't it? So with that in mind, many of us consider online business as the vehicle because it's much lower barrier to entry than other options like property investment or Forex or traditional businesses and franchises and so on and so forth. But logically, if the goal is to get out of our career, right? And if we were to do that, the requirement for that, of course, is to replace our income, like so, then the question often becomes, how do I build an online business that replaces my income? It's the main question that I hear time and time again when I speak at online business events or when I coach people on my live webinars or train and support the 3,000 members that we have in our private community. How do I build an online business that replaces my income? Except there's a big problem with that question. That's exactly like going to the gym and asking, how do I get six-pack abs? Because the answer you'll get from a personal trainer is simple. Do these exercises, do them 3 to 5 times a week and eat this diet and then you'll get six-pack abs. Super straightforward, isn't it? And do we even need a personal trainer to tell us that? We all know how to do it. Yet despite not knowing the how, at least 95% of people who want to get six-pack abs will fail to get six-pack abs. Why is that? If we all know how to do it, and we're not succeeding, is the how really the answer that we actually need in order to succeed at something? If it was about the how, then every single one of us would have six-pack abs, wouldn't we? The how is the tiny tip on top of the iceberg, and knowing the how is almost nothing to do with whether we're going to succeed at something, right? Online business is the same. It's what is down here that matters. And if we're asking, how do I build an online business that replaces my income, and believing that our success exists in the how, then we're already in that 95% that are going to fail. The success is nothing to do with the how or the technical skills or how much free time we have or how much money we have or any other reason that we tend to believe that we can't do it before we even start. It's nothing to do with any of that. So instead of the how, there's a much better question to ask. If you want to get out of an unfulfilling career, that is. Do you know what it is? Because I had no clue until I started walking the path, and I had to discover it for myself. And I'm going to explain exactly what I learned that question is for you right now. So click the button below this video to watch the next video on my website right now. I'll see you there. Right, let me pause that a sec. Okay, so I'm also going to stop that and just stop the voice recording.
So it might take a couple more takes to like get used to saying that message, because it got pretty rushed at a couple of points, especially there where I sort of lost the thread on the teleprompter and it took a minute to find it. But the point is that if you're doing this stuff regularly, right, the first time you do it, it's going to be clunky, it's going to be horrible, it's going to feel really uncomfortable, we won't know what we're doing. But then the more that you practice doing it, the better and better and better that you'll get at it. And so what I'm about to do now with the next one, so the bridge in this ad, which I've never actually tried before, the bridge is I'm teeing people up to, like, what is the question to ask? If you want to be successful in online business, what is the question we should be asking? Click below and I'll cover it right now. The next page is then going to be, here's the question we should be asking. And then at the end of that video, there's a bridge to the next page. If you want to find out how, click the next video. Then they're already 3 videos deep before I'm asking for the opt-in. Hopefully at that point, like the value and the epiphanies that have been created, there should be 2 epiphanies. But what's been created, hopefully, is painting a picture of how this relates to somebody actually applying these lessons in their own life and starting an online business in this case. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next video in this sequence now. And remember, just going back to this screen here, we're now on, they've clicked on the video and hopefully gone through to the first landing page, right? The bridge page. They're on my website now. That's the context of this second video. And just to clarify, again, we're watching this, so you guys on the webinar, we're watching this from 2 different perspectives. Number 1, from the perspective of, oh, this is a behind the scenes of shooting a video. But number 2, if you haven't yet built a successful online business, like I'm literally talking about what you need to ask in order to build a successful online business, in order to get in their headspace to succeed. So it's relevant for both those reasons. Listen to the message and watch what's going on as a behind the scenes, but also listen to the message, because this is relevant to what does it take, you know? So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, right, let's do the next part. That is really messy. Okay. Record. Scroll that down a bit. Start that. Okay. Get that tucked in. Yeah, teleprompter's going too fast. Okay.
I'm just going to turn the volume down here. I'm just going to make sure everyone's muted as well. All right, there we are. So here's the question. No, let me start that again. So here's the question. Instead of asking, how do I build an online business that replaces my income? The question that addresses the rest of this iceberg below the how is, who do I need to become in order to build an online business that replaces my income? And here's why. If we were capable of doing something that we'd never done as the person who we already are, then we'd already be doing it. Remember, it's nothing to do with the how. If we don't have 6-pack abs, it's not because we don't know how to get 6-pack abs. It's because we haven't yet become someone who is ready to get 6-pack abs. And it's the same with online business. It's not about what we know. It's about who we are and what we need to change about ourselves in order to succeed. And that includes our thoughts, our beliefs, our priorities, the questions that we ask, and a whole bunch of other things that basically form our model of reality. When you change your model of reality, in other words, when you change the way you see yourself and the world, you change the thoughts you think, you change your beliefs, you change the decisions that you make, you change the actions that you take, and therefore, different actions lead to what? Different results, right? So I'll give you an example. If we have a belief that, let's say, online business is probably a scam, is there any chance that we're going to build a successful online business while we have that belief? Zero, right? Again, think six-pack abs. If we believe that working out in the gym doesn't give you six-pack abs, is there any chance we're going to commit to 6 to 12 months of working out in the gym consistently? Of course not. Our belief will cause us to self-sabotage and quickly give up. We'll see it as a pointless waste of time. Or as another example, if we have thoughts that we're not good enough and we probably need tech skills to succeed in online business, are we going to start learning how to build a business? Of course not. We'll just tell ourselves it's not possible for us, we'll give up before we've even started, and we'll stay trapped in our unfulfilling career. But let's say, just imagine, that we change those thoughts by finding out that millions of people all over the world with no tech skills had built online businesses. So it must be true that anyone can learn, just like driving a car. And so instead, we chose to adopt a new belief that no matter what skills might be required, if we're willing to put in the work, we can easily learn those skills, just like everyone else has. In short, if they can do it, so can I. Do you think that the person with that belief might make a start and perhaps ultimately succeed? Yes, because they've changed the way they see themselves and the world. And when you change your model of reality first, and then you apply the how, suddenly a new possibility, a whole new possibility opens up. A possibility that couldn't have existed and never could have happened from within the old model of reality. You following me? And so if you're now asking, how do I change my model of reality? Wrong. Remember, it's not about the how. Try asking, who do I need to become in order to change my model of reality? And we need to become someone who's open to receiving new ideas that at first don't make sense. Someone who's willing to let go of old beliefs and thought patterns. Someone who's willing to look at ourselves and become aware of the thoughts and the beliefs that are keeping us trapped in the same predictable future that resembles the past. Someone who's willing to stop pretending that we've got it all figured out and instead learn from others who have already done it openly and without resistance. And we've got to be someone who's willing to stop letting the automatic voice in our head control us, control our life, and control our future. And finally, we've got to be someone who's willing to draw a line in the sand and from this moment forward, commit to doing whatever it takes to create the life that we want to be living. So are you open? Are you willing? Are you ready? And are you self-aware enough to become a different person, to take different actions and therefore create a different result? If you are, we can begin answering the question, how do I build an online business that replaces my income? So click the button below to go to the next video and we'll get that question answered. I'll see you there. Okay, right, pause that. Pause.
By the way, on the mistakes, so like whenever I'm talking and I mess up a line or say something wrong, I've always got the teleprompter so that it's about maybe 4 sentences below the top of the screen. So I've got enough time to stop, restart, and it's still on the screen. And I can just speed up a little bit and just read so that I'm back to about 4 sentences or so ahead on the screen. And also in editing, what I tend to do, if I mess up, I try and stay still and then restart. And then when either me or my team are editing, it means that we can easily just cut that bit out the footage and continue. And it's not a messy transition. So what I mean by a messy transition, if I was talking to you guys right now, and let's say I was talking and doing a thing, and then I'm like, oh, I just messed up my line. And then I go over here and like come back, and then suddenly, and then I start again and I'm up here, right? The transition would look like that, which obviously would look ridiculous. So good tip is if you mess up, just freeze and then just restart from the same position. That's what I always try and do. Just makes it cleaner in editing. Okay, so now we're going to go on to the third video. All right, so we're now here on the opt-in page. And on this video, the intention is that when we start getting that question answered, people can now opt in with their name and email address on this page to receive what it is that I'm actually offering. That's the intention behind this. Okay, so we'll see how this works. Voice record. Yeah, that's on. Camera record. Okay. Right. Right, here we go.
So, no, start that again. Oh, script's gone too far. So how do I build an online business that replaces my income? So the answer to this question probably isn't what you think, because it certainly wasn't for me. The answer is a commitment based on what we covered in the last two videos. A commitment that we're ready to do whatever it takes to build our own successful business, and a commitment that we're not going to quit until we succeed. That's how you build a successful online business. And when we see a person in our private community of 3,000 entrepreneurs make that commitment to themselves and then stand by it, then we know that they're ready to succeed. And as long as they honor that commitment, they will end up in the 5% who do ultimately succeed, however long it takes, because they're the ones who have just kept going. And why is that? Well, it's because when someone makes that commitment that they won't quit until they succeed, there's no space anymore for thoughts like, I don't have the technical skills, or thoughts like online business is a scam, or I don't have the time, or I don't have the money, or anything else that would otherwise stop them. They're committed to keep going until they succeed, no matter what. So they have no choice but to let go of those disempowering thoughts and beliefs and find a way. It's do or die. That's it. And they've adopted a whole new model of reality. It's what we were talking about before. They've changed their beliefs about themselves and the world around them. They're all in on creating their future and believing that it's possible for them. And as a result, they also fully embrace and take advantage of what we offer them, which is our education and training, our team of mentors, our accountability groups, our live webinars, our one-on-one coaching. I could go on and on and on. All the stuff that's available in our private community. And you'd think that this level of support would cost thousands of dollars. It doesn't. In fact, it's not even hundreds. But anyway, I'm now going to give you the free I'm now going to give you for free the how in how to build an online business. And I hope after watching these videos that you're crystal clear about the mindset that it's going to take to succeed in building your own online business too. So as you're going through the training that I'm about to give you access to for free, stay aware enough to hear the thoughts and beliefs that are going through your own mind as you're watching. And ask yourself, are these thoughts and beliefs going to help me succeed, or will they cause me to give up and fail? In other words, am I being who I need to be in order to build an online business that replaces my income? To give you a specific example, if someone had a thought like, I bet this free training's just there to try and get me to buy stuff, so I'm not even going to bother watching it. Would that thought move them closer to or further away from having their own successful online business? Obviously further, right? Wouldn't it make much more sense to get the free training, to watch it with an open mind, to learn an absolute ton of stuff, and then when they're offered to take things further and buy stuff, make a decision at that point about whether they think it's worth it based on the value they got out of the training? Probably make more sense, wouldn't it? It's just a basic calculation of what your time's worth. You know, if you're trading time for money and you currently value your time at, let's say, £1,000 per week, for example, and a free training saves you 4 weeks of your time from not having to figure out a bunch of stuff by yourself, then that free training effectively saved you £4,000, didn't it? Not bad at all if it was free. So this training that I'm giving you is a 4-part series that's shot by the co-founder of an online business education company that my company is now partnered with. They've been supporting people start out online businesses for over a decade now. They're the exact company that I first started with in September 2016 when I came out of my corporate software sales career and made a start online. It's the best education company that I've ever come across for online business in my 3 years in this space. And I'm giving you access to their foundational workshop modules around how to build a successful online business right now for free. I'll need to email you your access codes for each module so that you can access them too. So pop in your name and email just below this video and you'll get your access code for the first video in your email inbox from me right away. By the way, we take data protection extremely seriously. Our key focus is building a relationship with you by actually helping you figure out how to get out of an unfulfilling corporate career. Your data stays safe with us and with us only. So enter your name and email address down below and I'll see you in your inbox in a minute. Bye for now. Okay, I feel like I think the script needs a little bit of work, particularly at the end.
But we're going to launch it and we're going to see what happens. Number one rule of marketing.
I don't know if you heard. Dan, I don't.
Smash my thing up. Hello, Helen.
I don't know if you heard, but there's a member who wasn't muted, the one without a face, and I hope that I didn't interfere with your video.
Don't worry. I turned the volume right down, so in case that did happen, then we should all be good. Thanks, Helen. Yeah, so what I was going to say is that number one rule in online business is whenever you create an ad or content or anything like that, often we'll think it's crap, right? I've launched ads, I've had ads that I thought were bad and I wasn't even going to launch them, and that would have been a terrible idea based on the results of those ads. Like, it happens. And so the number one rule is nobody decides whether an ad is good or not except the market. That's it. So always put your stuff out there, see what the results are, and then you get the feedback from the market about whether it's good. Then you can tweak, adapt, change, pivot, whatever it is. All right. So you always put your stuff out there. So there you go. That's just a little behind the scenes look at, the setup for this kind of ad. So, I'll do stuff from time to time outside, out and about. I'll do like the more raw footage, which is just me holding my phone, just speaking to camera. But this is like slightly more of a presentation style, doing it with the whiteboard and the white background. For anyone who follows my YouTube channel, you'll notice that a lot of the YouTube videos that I do, I'm basically sitting right here against this white wall. And it's just clean and it's just me, a message in camera. One other thing I will say on that note is that the message that you're trying to portray or convey and get across is really going to dictate what sort of format you're producing your content in. So, for example, many of you will have seen the video, I call it the bar ad, which is me, it's in like a hotel bar and I'm eating a salad and the guy that's interviewing me just says, "So Dan, what was the biggest step that you took to start your own online business and create a life of freedom?" And then I put the fork down and I go, "Good question." And then we talk about starting an online business, right? Many of you have seen that. Now, if I was to do that type of ad into the camera, it wouldn't make sense. Like, the format wouldn't work because there's a guy that's asking me a question, then I'm speaking to the camera, like there's a disconnect there. You get that? So the format, the structure, the way that ad is it makes sense for me to be speaking off camera at the guy that's asking me the question. However, if I was to shoot this one here in an interview style and speak off camera, that wouldn't really make sense because clearly, I'm just sort of either sort of on my own in an office doing this. And so to be interviewed in this setting, it doesn't look like an interview. So that format is on camera. And we had a prime example in the community, brilliant example just this week. A lot of you guys on the panel here, who was on the Marketing Mastery call with Lucy Goodale, where she shared her new ad this week. Yeah, Bruce, I think you were there. Yeah, maybe a couple of us. So if you're marketing mastery and you haven't watched it, it was a great call, particularly the bit with Lucy, because the week before she shot a new ad that she was doing, and she did it off camera, but she was in her living room. And it was a really authentic, real ad about like the journey she's been in business and why she's doing it with her kids, and why it means so much to her to create this life for her and for them and all this stuff. Like, it's a really powerful message, but the off-camera format just got rid of that authenticity. And then the following week, so this week just gone, she shot a new version, and it was just her straight into camera, much more real, much more authentic, and the emotion behind that, utterly different, right? Utterly different feeling that came across with that ad, because it was more relevant to, you know, the personal message that she was speaking to mothers with kids. It was relatable, and it was connected, and it was authentic. So always do keep that in mind. There's many different ways of shooting videos, but it's about, you know, picking the format that is real and authentic for the message that you're trying to convey. Hopefully that makes sense. We've got about 19 minutes left or so. So everyone on the panel, if you have any questions, any thoughts, anything to add, please just unmute and just ask away. We'll do a little Q&A before we wrap up at the top of the hour. Anyone who's got anything. If not, I could just waffle happily for 20 minutes. That's not.
While everyone's thinking, you might have just lost audio there. Oh, Bruce, you there, mate? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I was looking at some teleprompter YouTube videos, and obviously you use a different version. Some people have got like a kit with a mirror and all that kind of stuff. Have you got any experience with those kind of things?
No. So my setup, like compared to most people who would, let's say, create content on YouTube, my setup is terrible in their eyes, but it does the job, because this little, I'll show you the camera just for anyone who's not seen this before. So this is called, hold on, I can't get it out the bracket with one hand. Oh, no, yes, I can. Ah, there we go. So this is called a DJI Osmo Pocket, like that. And it's basically a gimbal camera. So I turn it on, and the little gimbal here is a stabilizer. So it will smooth out any footage, which is great for being on the move. And I can spin it round like that. And I can put it on a selfie stick, and I do vlogs, and it will create, like, you know, nice, smooth 4K footage. Really, really handy for travel. Like, you just literally slip it in your pocket. It's super easy. And because I'm on the road, well, certainly in 2018, I was traveling, like that was my life. I didn't want to carry a big bulky DSLR around with me. So this is perfect for the travel lifestyle. However, can't put a teleprompter screen in front of a tiny little Osmo Pocket. What they normally do is they fix to a DSLR, either camera, like the base plate, or I think you get ones that fix to the lens as well. Typically, I know at some point I will invest and put a proper setup in, but for now, I'm still just using this, hence the iPad teleprompter instead of an actual teleprompter, just because I can't fix it to this. That's all it is. All make sense?
Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. You're welcome, buddy. I'm just going to scan chat as well. So we've got a few messages in there. Yeah, hello, everyone. Kevin, incredible script, Dan. Thank you, mate. Appreciate you. Mike, nice hook. Was that on the video one that you're talking about? Yeah, awesome. Thanks, bud. Estella, you have lots of practice. Yes, this year has been the year of video, that's for sure. Love the tone you use in the slower tempo to create more trust. Yeah, so I mean, so delivering a message, like there's a whole massive science behind like the use of tone and so on and so forth. And like the funny thing is, my journey of understanding with this, if you want to call it that, has almost gone full circle over 10 years. So what I mean by that is that, you know, I come from a software sales career. I was 10 years in sales before I started in business. Last 5 years for software. Went through a ton of, you know, different training about, like, you know, using tonal patterns and and how to basically speak at different parts in the script or the structure or whatever you call it. Long story short, what's basically happened is learning all of this sales stuff, which is often like inauthentic, or being taught in the wrong way. It's almost brought me right back to understanding that at the core of it, if you're just delivering a real message and you're delivering a message that resonates with you and means something to you, it almost feels like now the communication is coming from a place of like, how can I put it? It's like it's the natural communicate or the natural expression of the message in the way that it would be said or is said, because of how I'm wording this like crap, because of how it's resonating with me. So let me try and explain this one more time in a way that makes more sense. The more I practice on video, and I've explained a concept like this before. When you first start on video, imagine this is your normal self with your close family, your other half, your kids, your wife, whatever. Like, this is just totally real and authentic you. And then the first time that we get on video, we turn into this super weird, super awkward, super uncomfortable version of ourselves. And you look at the video and you're like, who is this person? Like, what's going on? And then the journey of practicing on video is really just about getting comfortable to the point where you're back to just yourself, right? And so when you're at that point through practice, the use of tone in a video it just becomes the way you naturally express a message if you're delivering it, like a message that means something to you. You know, like when you watch people doing talks and they get like super caught up and they're passionate about it and they're just delivering it in this way, and it's like, it sends shivers over your body and your hair stands on end. Like that level of authenticity with a message, like a cause or a movement or something that resonates with the speaker so much, you don't fake that tonal pattern. Like, you don't fake the delivery. The delivery is just utter raw and realness. So I suppose what I'm saying is to go like full circle of this understanding of tonal patterns and psychology and how to deliver a message. It's almost like you don't actually need to learn any of it. What you need to focus on is just becoming real and becoming expressed in delivering a message without, closing up because of the fear or because we feel uncomfortable or whatever. It's like, I have a message, I want to share it. And it's just about connecting with that authentically. Does that make a bit more sense? Cool. Got there in the end. Yeah, sorry about that. Bit of a roundabout way of doing it, but yeah, hopefully it worked. Cool. Thank you, guys. Dan, is the 3 video sequence new, or have you done this kind of advertising live for some time? Are the results better than a single video ad? Yeah, great question. I haven't launched anything like this yet. This will be the first time for me. Everything that I've done has been single ad, landing page, opt-in, thank you page, autoresponder sequence to nurture and provide value before, being like a sales call to action for a product that can help someone move forwards. So this will be the first time. I mean, the thinking behind it is like every other online business owner or marketer under the sun. You look at all the ads that we see on our YouTube again and again and again, for example, and they're pretty much all the same structure. Everyone on this call has probably been hearing online business related ads for like 5 or 10 years, maybe 5 years. 10's a bit of an exaggeration. 5 years. And so what I'm trying to get out of is just the standard format of like, hey, here's a pain and here's a solution to your pain, and now give me your email address and there's your solution. And like, I just think that there's maybe better ways to connect and provide value now. And so to answer your question, buddy, Zidrinus, I think it is, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. This is basically looking at a new way to put something out there for somebody to, if they resonate with it and they're on board with the thread that I'm going down, they can click, they can continue to interact if they want to, and continue again and again. And at that point, I've built up 3 layers of value and relatability instead of just the one. We'll see. It might not work. It might just absolutely crash and burn. But it's just an idea for new structure. We'll see how it does. Serge says, do you have some advice on the maximum time of video ads in the different stages of the funnel? So the first should probably be short, then they become longer when people are further in the funnel and more interested. Do you have some guidelines? Yeah, exactly that, mate. And again, this is the thinking with this particular idea. I want to, like, the first video that I shot just now was about 4.5 minutes. I probably want to even start looking at doing them shorter, because I think attention spans are getting shorter and shorter and shorter over time. I heard a stat recently that the average human attention span is now shorter than a goldfish. It's like, whoa. And again, like, you look at how people use, Instagram, scroll, stop, no, bored, scroll, no, stop, no, scroll. Like, that's just what we do now. So yeah, I'm just trying to look at the different format of doing that is, and typically, Serge, as you say, I'm looking at probably shorter front end, maybe 3 to 4.5 minutes is about my range at the moment. Again, might even try going shorter. I'm still going to keep testing it. But over time, as they're more and more engaged, you'd assume that you could get longer messages out there because people are getting value from what it is that you're, what you're doing. Mike, why do you use the iPhone for audio only? How do you then match that up with video content in iMovie? Yeah, so reason being is, there you are, I lost you for a sec. Reason being, mate, is that if I was to mic up to the Osmo, I'd have to have a long cable. It's just a bit of a, it's really annoying. And also the quality's worse, like the longer the cable is. And so it just makes sense for me to chuck it on, like, mic myself to my phone in my pocket, and then the cable's just inside my t-shirt and I can move freely and go wherever I want and do whatever I want. And when I line it up in the editor, I'll basically, it's either now Sarah and my team will do it, but I was doing it for the first, 2.5 years. I do all video editing. I'll basically look at the audio on the camera because the audio is still there. It's just crap quality. And I'd look at the pattern and then just sort of line it up roughly. And then I would just, play it. And then I'll just nudge the audio until they're perfectly in sync. And then I'll just delete the audio off the camera and then just pair the audio and video. And then I'll just use the timeline for whatever. Lois Meads, if you talk from the heart, your tone will naturally be genuine. Yep, spot on. Hi, Kevin says, when shooting from a smartphone, must you have another smartphone with you just for hooking up clear audio? Yeah, great question. So again, 2 ways you can do it. If you've just got the one phone and you're videoing with the one phone, if you're inside and you're, let's say, static, maybe sitting or standing, again, if you get like a 2-meter cable, it's long enough to, actually, if you're on a tripod, you might want 3-meter. If you get a 3-meter cable, it's long enough to just hook into the phone. You can do it that way. But if you do have an old second phone, like an iPhone 6 that's lying around or something, just use the voice record on that, and it's just easier to hook up to the phone in your pocket. So yeah, you can do either or, whichever's best. Keith, you are more than welcome, my friend. Thank you very much. Guys, we have got 7 minutes left. Any final questions? Anything else come to mind? If you have anything, please just unmute and ask. If not, we can wrap it just before the top of the hour, because hopefully this has been a useful webinar demonstration. Going once. Going. Adam. Yes, mate.
It was telling me not to because it's not relevant, but it's about our ad. So can I ask?
Depends. If it's a walkthrough of the ad, then probably not time now. But if it's a quick question, then yeah.
Yeah, so we've submitted it for we posted it, we've done our keywords, we've gone live with it, and it's under review. Is there any kind of guideline as to how long these reviews take?
Mike's grinning. Yeah, Mike has a lot of experience with this as well. So the review stage can be anything from maybe 30 minutes up to 2 weeks. Sometimes even longer. I think it's like I don't know exactly what the process is. I do know that if you're a new advertiser, and you've only recently got started on the Google platform, often there'll be a manual review by a Google rep. I imagine they have queues as well. Could take some time to get through. If you've been advertising for a while, you will get auto approved for most stuff very quickly because you have a history that you don't get sort of stuff disapproved before.
So it's kind of a case you build up a relationship with them the longer that you're kind of like, okay, all right, cool.
Yeah, exactly. All I'd say, mate, is whenever you launch something, if it's under review or it's just not spending, it's in the learning phase and not spending, it's always a good idea to just focus on creating another ad, doing some more content, because otherwise you end up sitting there for 2 weeks. You're like, why aren't you doing anything? And nothing's moving. And in that time, we might as well have just been doing some new stuff, because it'll move when it'll move, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's always best to just keep putting stuff out.
All right, cool. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome, buddy. Any final questions from anyone? A few minutes left. Cool. Good stuff. Guys, thank you for joining. I really appreciate you. As I say, I hope this was useful. Actually went better than I thought it was going to go as well. Wouldn't say it was a train wreck, which is nice. So have an awesome week. Remember, I'm doing these webinars now weekly. They are always at 6 p.m. UK time, which is 1 p.m. Eastern time every Thursday. If you're watching this on the either the replay through YouTube, or you've received an email and you're watching it on my website, you'll see links down below to software systems that we use internally or we recommend that can help you with starting your own online business. And also you will see a registration link to join next week's webinar. All right, if you want to join next week's live and you know, see this happening and participate and ask questions and all that kind of stuff, and there's a registration link just below if you're watching this replay. If you're on the call live,
Dan, quick last question then. Who's this webinar open to? When
you say open to, do you mean who can see it?
Correct. Who can be invited to it? Who can see this? Yeah.
Yeah, brilliant. So basically, it's going to go public on YouTube. So anybody who sees my stuff on YouTube or is on my email list or is on your email list, you know, can join it as an attendee and watch. And also people who are members of the business community that all of us on the panel are a part of, they can join as panelists, and they'll see the link in my private entrepreneurial network Facebook group. So all of you guys have seen that already. But yeah, anyone can join pretty much.
Thank you.
Thank you, buddy. Right, I think that's about it. Appreciate you. Have an awesome week, everyone. And I will see you same time next week on the webinar. Bye for now.